You think you know your friends. You think you can trust them. Machiavelli would laugh at your innocence, friendship, a bond we cherish, a trust we believe in. From childhood, we are taught that true friends stand by us no matter what. That loyalty is real, that betrayal is rare, but what if it's all an illusion? What if loyalty is nothing more than a convenient lie? What if friendship survives only when it serves personal interests? Niccolo Machiavelli, the cold realist of the Renaissance, believed exactly that. For him, friendship was not sacred. It was a strategy. In Machiavelli's world, people are not loyal out of love. They are loyal because it benefits them. When the benefit disappears, so does the loyalty. He wrote in The Prince, "Men are less hesitant to offend someone who makes himself loved than someone who makes himself feared. Because love fades, fear endures." It's a harsh truth, but one we all eventually learn. Friends who vanish when times get tough. Alliances that crumble the moment they are tested. Machiavelli didn't see this as evil. He saw it as survival, a natural law of human behavior. We believe we choose our friends, based on trust and affection. But beneath it all, personal gain often whispers louder than loyalty. This challenges everything we want to believe about relationships. It forces us to ask, is true friendship even real? Or are we simply convenient allies, useful only for a time? In this journey, we will walk through Machiavelli's brutal view of human nature. We will uncover how manipulation hides beneath the surface of even the closest bonds. And we will confront a truth few dare to accept. No one is truly your friend. Not forever, not without reason. At the heart of Machiavelli's philosophy lies one brutal idea. Humans are selfish by nature. We like to believe that people act out of kindness, loyalty, or morality. But Machiavelli saw through this illusion. He believed that behind every action there is one true motive: personal gain. In The Prince, he wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, liars and deceivers. They shun danger and are greedy for profit." It's a harsh description, but Machiavelli didn't say it out of bitterness. He said it out of observation. He watched rulers rise and fall. He watched allies turn into enemies. And he understood a basic truth. When survival or ambition is at stake, loyalty collapses. According to Machiavelli, even the noblest friendship is fragile. As long as a relationship benefits both sides, it will survive. But when sacrifice is required, when loyalty demands a cost, most people will choose themselves over others. This is not because people are evil. It is because people are human. Machiavelli argued that rulers, leaders, and even ordinary individuals must recognize this reality. If you build your life assuming that people will act selflessly, you will be destroyed. But if you understand that self-interest rules human behavior, you can protect yourself, and even turn it to your advantage. In Discourses on Livy, he explained further, "The nature of peoples is variable, and whilst it is easy to persuade them, it is difficult to fix them in that persuasion. People are easily convinced when it suits them, but their loyalty is as thin as paper. When the winds of fortune change, so will their hearts." Machiavelli's genius was not in creating evil ideas. It was in exposing the truth we refuse to see. He didn't tell leaders to be cruel for no reason. He told them to be realistic, to understand that appearances of loyalty, friendship, and love are often just that, appearances. In a world driven by ambition, people will do whatever they must to survive, to rise, to win. The mask of friendship can hide ambition. The mask of loyalty can hide betrayal. And those who fail to see beyond the mask, they lose. This view might sound cold, but Machiavelli believed it was the key to strength, resilience, and power. A wise leader, according to him, is not one who trusts blindly. It is one who expects betrayal and plans for it. It is one who rewards loyalty when it serves a purpose, but never forgets that loyalty can vanish overnight. Even in personal life, Machiavelli's lesson applies. Not every smile is sincere. Not every promise will be kept. By accepting human nature as it is, selfish, changing, self-interested, we can protect ourselves. We can build relationships with open eyes, not blind faith. Machiavelli didn't want us to hate humanity. He wanted us to understand it. And in understanding, he believed, we find true power. Because when you know that self-interest rules the human heart, you are never surprised, you are never defenseless, and you are never truly betrayed. To understand Machiavelli's brutal view of human nature, we must step back into the violent world he lived in, Renaissance Italy. Italy was not a single nation then. It was a patchwork of city-states, Florence, Milan, Venice, Naples, Rome, each ruled by its own powerful family, each locked in endless struggle for dominance. Alliances were made in the morning and broken by night. Rulers were overthrown, imprisoned, or assassinated without warning. The political arena was a battlefield, not of armies alone, but of betrayal, conspiracy, and manipulation. Machiavelli grew up in Florence, a city known for both its culture and its chaos. As a young diplomat, he witnessed firsthand the cruelty of power. He saw kings, popes, and generals make and break promises without hesitation. He saw how the fate of entire cities could hinge on a single act of treachery. One of the most powerful figures of Machiavelli's time was Cesare Borgia, a ruthless leader who embodied everything Machiavelli admired about political cunning. Borgia used charm when it suited him. He used violence when it was necessary. He betrayed allies without remorse if it served his ambition. Machiavelli observed Borgia closely, and in Borgia he saw a living example of how real power works. Borgia's story was not unique. Across Italy, betrayals were common currency. Today's ally could become tomorrow's executioner. A friend could become an enemy overnight, depending on the shifting winds of advantage. In this unstable world, idealism was not just foolish, it was deadly. Machiavelli himself was a victim of these brutal dynamics. When the Medici family returned to power in Florence, he was accused of conspiracy, arrested, tortured, and exiled. The very people he had served turned against him without hesitation. It was during this bitter exile that he wrote The Prince, not as a dream of what politics should be, but as a survival guide for what politics truly is. In his world, there were no permanent friends. There were only shifting interests. There was no unconditional loyalty. There was only power, and the endless struggle to keep it. Understanding this history is crucial. Machiavelli did not invent betrayal. He simply named it. He did not create manipulation. He uncovered its rules. His writings were not born from theory but from blood, betrayal, and broken promises. From the dark alleys of Florence to the blood-soaked battlefields of Italy, Machiavelli witnessed a truth that few dared to admit. Trust is a weapon, not a virtue. Friendship is a negotiation, not a vow. Loyalty is a currency, not a bond. This was the world that shaped him. This was the reality he wanted the world to see, and even centuries later, his brutal lessons remain as true today as they were in the treacherous streets of Renaissance Italy. Beneath every relationship, hidden and silent, runs a current of calculation. This is the brutal insight Machiavelli understood centuries ago, and today psychology confirms it. Friendships are not always built on love. Often, they are built on need, on mutual benefit, on the silent hope. You will serve my interests, and I will serve yours. When needs change, so does the friendship. Machiavelli saw that loyalty is rarely unconditional. It is a strategy, an invisible game where both sides wear masks, sometimes without even realizing it. Modern psychology calls this social exchange theory, the idea that relationships are maintained when the benefits outweigh the costs. When they don't, the bond breaks. Just as Machiavelli predicted, in human interactions, manipulation is rarely obvious. It is not loud or violent. It is subtle. It lives in small favors, unspoken expectations, silent pressure. We smile when we want something. We agree when it suits. Us. We offer help not always out of kindness, but sometimes as an investment. Psychologists like Robert Cialdini have studied this deeply. In his work on influence, he shows how people use reciprocity, doing favors, to create a sense of debt. A gentle form of manipulation dressed as kindness. Machiavelli understood this long before science gave it a name. He knew that alliances are built on mutual self-interest, not pure goodwill, that every act of generosity could be a strategic move, that every promise could be a trap. The line between friend and foe is thinner than we like to admit. One day a person may stand beside you, smiling, supportive. The next day, when your value to them fades, they may turn away, or worse, turn against you. It isn't personal, it's survival. This is why Machiavelli warned rulers to never depend on loyalty alone. Instead, he advised them to create structures of power that made betrayal costly, to ensure that people's interests remained tied to their obedience. A friendship without aligned interests is a friendship waiting to collapse. In the corporate world today, the same dynamics play out. Colleagues collaborate, but beneath the teamwork lies competition. Alliances form and dissolve as promotions, bonuses, and influence shift. Social media is another battleground of manipulation. Likes, comments, shares, they feel like acts of friendship, but they are often strategies for visibility, reputation, and personal brand. Even in personal life, manipulation is woven into relationships, not out of evil, but out of instinct. We seek partners who benefit us emotionally, socially, or materially. We maintain friendships that serve our needs. When those needs change, relationships drift, weaken, or end. Machiavelli's genius was not in creating manipulation, it was in naming it, without shame. He believed that pretending people are always loyal or selfless makes us weak. It blinds us to reality. True strength, according to Machiavelli, is to see the hidden moves, to understand that every relationship has a silent negotiation underneath. If you expect purity, you will be broken. If you expect calculation, you will be prepared. And if you can master the art of manipulation yourself, carefully, subtly, you can shape alliances, control outcomes, and survive in a world ruled by self-interest. But it requires clarity. A brutal honesty about human nature. Every handshake could be a deal, every compliment could be a tactic, every promise could be a calculated move. This is not cynicism, it is awareness. It does not mean isolating yourself, it means engaging with others, but with open eyes, not illusions. Machiavelli did not advise cutting ties with the world. He advised moving through it wisely, recognizing that beneath every smile there may be teeth. Understanding manipulation is not about becoming paranoid, it is about becoming strong. Because in a world where trust can be a weapon, the ability to see through the mask can save your life. Centuries have passed since Machiavelli wrote The Prince, but the world he described has not vanished. It has evolved, disguised behind polished words and digital screens. Today, the principles of manipulation, self-interest, and betrayal are not relics of the past. They are the unseen forces shaping modern life. In politics, Machiavelli's fingerprints are everywhere. Campaigns are sold as battles for justice, change, and unity. But beneath the slogans lies strategy, pure, cold, calculated. Alliances are made not from shared ideals, but from shared interests. Loyalty to the party is demanded not out of love, but out of survival. Politicians pivot, betray promises, abandon old friends, because the currency of power is not loyalty, it is advantage. Machiavelli would not be shocked. He would simply nod and say, "This is how it has always been." In corporate life, the Machiavellian game plays out daily. Boardrooms are battlefields. Colleagues wear smiles as they sharpen knives behind closed doors. Projects are collaborations, until they become competitions. Friendships at work are often strategic, built to climb higher, to gain favor, to survive layoffs and restructures. The team player persona is often a mask, carefully crafted to navigate the politics of promotion. In social media, the manipulation is even more subtle and more pervasive. Platforms reward performance, not authenticity. Influencers craft images, carefully tailoring every post, every comment, every connection. Friendships are built and broken based on reach, reputation, and relevance. Here, even a friendship can be a transaction, a way to boost engagement, to gain followers, to climb the invisible ladder of influence. We call it networking. Machiavelli would call it exactly what it is, the pursuit of self-interest masked as connection. Even in personal relationships, his philosophy remains hauntingly relevant. Romantic partnerships are often evaluated through unspoken calculations: emotional support, financial security, social compatibility. If these elements falter, love itself can erode. Friendships, too, are tested by life's shifting tides. Distance, career changes, personal growth, all reveal whether a bond was rooted in genuine affection or mutual benefit. We like to think we are loyal by nature, but more often, we are loyal when it is easy. When loyalty costs us something, many quietly step away. Machiavelli forces us to confront this truth. Loyalty, trust, friendship, they are real, but they are fragile. They exist when interests align, and vanish when they don't. Even the digital age, for all its promises of connection, has magnified the Machiavellian nature of human interaction. Algorithms favor outrage over truth, visibility over sincerity, connections over depth. People curate identities, forge alliances, sever ties, all at the speed of a click. We live in a world where being naive is dangerous, where understanding the silent rules of power is no longer a choice, it's survival. Machiavelli never advised cruelty for its own sake. He advised realism. He taught that seeing the world as it is, not as we wish it to be, is the first step to thriving in it. Today, his advice echoes louder than ever. If you believe every friendship is pure, you will be disappointed. If you believe every leader acts from virtue, you will be betrayed. If you think loyalty will protect you, you will be left behind. But if you understand that self-interest drives much of human behavior, you gain an advantage. You move wisely. You choose alliances carefully. You prepare for betrayal without losing your soul to paranoia. In every era, from the marble halls of Renaissance Florence to the neon-lit corridors of modern politics, business, and social life, the game remains the same. Only the costumes have changed. Machiavelli's warning is not a curse, it is a shield, a way to walk through a world of hidden knives with your eyes wide open, and those who listen, truly listen, may find that survival is not about blind trust or endless cynicism. It is about balance, a delicate dance between belief and caution, between connection and self-protection. In a world of smiles and masks, Machiavelli's wisdom whispers the only rule that truly matters: trust, but verify. Love, but prepare. Connect, but never forget. At the end of the day, everyone is playing their own game. In the world Machiavelli observed, friendship was rarely about affection. It was about necessity. A true friend was a rare luxury. A useful friend was a tool, a stepping stone toward power. Machiavelli taught that alliances were not built on loyalty or love, but on mutual benefit. Two parties helping each other, each waiting for the moment when the cost of loyalty outweighed the reward. And when that moment came, betrayal was not seen as treachery. It was seen as strategy. We like to believe that friendships are sacred, that once a bond is formed, it remains unbreakable. But history and experience tell another story. Strategic friendships have shaped kingdoms, corporations, and revolutions. Consider the alliances of Renaissance Italy. Powerful families like the Medicis and Borgias formed friendships, not because of shared values, but because it suited their ambitions. When tides turned, these friendships were dissolved without hesitation, sometimes with a whisper, sometimes with a dagger. Machiavelli understood: the closer you are to power, the more transactional relationships become. Even today, the concept remains unchanged, only the setting has evolved. In politics, strategic friendships dominate. Running mates are chosen not because of personal trust, but because they can deliver votes, influence, or credibility. Diplomatic ties between nations are formed out of shared interests, not shared values. When interests shift, alliances crumble, and former allies become rivals overnight. In business, it's the same. Partnerships are formed to open doors, secure investments, or gain market advantages. When profits dwindle or risks rise, the handshakes tighten and then break. Friendships in leadership circles are rarely about camaraderie. They are tactical moves on a chessboard, each piece used to protect, advance, or sacrifice when necessary. Even in our personal lives, strategic friendships quietly exist. We may form connections with colleagues, neighbors, or acquaintances because they offer opportunities, access, or security. It's not always cold calculation. Sometimes it's survival. Machiavelli would argue that this is not evil. It is simply reality. Understanding strategic friendships is not about abandoning loyalty. It's about recognizing the hidden layers beneath human connection. It's about asking, what keeps this bond alive? Shared affection or shared advantage? In moments of crisis, the truth always emerges. When loyalty costs something, only a few remain. The rest fade away or turn. And yet Machiavelli does not suggest isolation. He believed that forming strategic alliances is wise, but only if you remain aware of their nature. Never tie your survival to someone else's loyalty. Never expect that gratitude or past favors will guarantee future support. Friendships must be cultivated carefully, but always with one eye open, prepared for the moment when self-interest takes precedence. Machiavelli's wisdom teaches us that power does not belong to the strongest, nor the kindest, but to those who see the world clearly, without illusions. In the realm of relationships, this means choosing wisely, trusting carefully, and never confusing strategy with sincerity. Strategic friendships are not betrayals waiting to happen. They are tools, powerful, essential, and dangerous if misunderstood. Treat them as what they are, and you will move through the world with strength. Ignore their true nature, and you will move through it with heartbreak. The choice, as always, is yours. Betrayal is not an accident. It is a consequence, the natural result of ambition, fear, and shifting interests. Machiavelli understood this better than most. He knew that loyalty is fragile, easily broken when the cost of maintaining it becomes too high. In a world where self-interest reigns, betrayal is not a question of if, it is a question of when. Trust, once shattered, rarely heals. It leaves scars deeper than wounds inflicted by any weapon. History offers endless lessons. Julius Caesar trusted Brutus. He believed loyalty and friendship would protect him, but ambition spoke louder than affection, and with a single act of betrayal, an empire was thrown into chaos. Friendship ended, power shifted, blood paved the way for history to be rewritten. In every betrayal, there is a silent calculation, a weighing of risk against reward, a cold, merciless decision. Machiavelli did not mourn this reality. He simply accepted it. He advised rulers to expect betrayal, to guard themselves against it, and to never be so naive as to think loyalty was eternal. In personal relationships, betrayal often comes quietly, a secret whispered to the wrong person, a loyalty traded for convenience, a trust broken when circumstances change. It rarely looks like the grand treachery of history. Often it is subtle, a friend who is no longer there when you need them most. A partner who turns away when loyalty demands sacrifice. Betrayal cuts deeper because it is personal. It is the collision of hope with reality, and yet betrayal is not the end. It is a revelation. It strips away illusion. It reveals who people truly are and who they have always been. Machiavelli teaches us that betrayal is not random. It follows patterns, motives, and predictable human desires. Those who are betrayed often share a common flaw. They trusted blindly. They believed friendship or past loyalty would override ambition, fear, or greed. But loyalty is fragile. It requires constant tending, and even then it may not survive. The consequences of betrayal ripple outward. In politics, it brings down governments. In business, it topples empires. In personal life, it leaves a trail of broken hearts and lost faith. But Machiavelli offers not despair, but clarity. He shows us that survival requires understanding betrayal, anticipating it, and accepting it as part of the human condition. He urges us to build alliances carefully, to offer trust sparingly, and to always prepare for the moment when interests change. Betrayal is not a rare event. It is a constant possibility, lurking behind smiles, promises, and oaths. Accepting this truth does not make you cold. It makes you wise. It allows you to value loyalty when it is real, and to let go when it is gone. Those who survive betrayal are not the strongest or the most ruthless. They are the most awake. They see the world for what it is, not what they wish it to be, and in that clarity they find a strength no betrayal can break. The fallout from betrayal is painful, but it is also a forge, burning away illusion, leaving behind resilience. Machiavelli's message is simple. Expect betrayal, prepare for it. Survive it, and never let it destroy your faith, not in others, but in your own strength. Because in a world of shifting loyalties, the only true security lies within yourself. Friendship. It's a word we cherish, a concept we hold dear. But after exploring the reality of loyalty, trust, and betrayal, we must ask ourselves, what is friendship really? Is it pure? Is it selfless? Or is it, as Machiavelli suggested, simply another tool, a stepping stone in the complex dance of power? Machiavelli's philosophy forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. It tells us that in a world ruled by self-interest, genuine friendship is rare, if not impossible. But rather than despairing over this, he invites us to understand it. Understanding that friendships can be strategic, that loyalty is not a given, and that betrayal is an ever-present possibility. This doesn't make us cold. It makes us realistic. It gives us the power to navigate relationships with clarity and with wisdom. True strength lies not in blind trust, but in knowing when to trust, when to let go, and when to protect ourselves from betrayal. So, can true friendships exist in a world of manipulation? Machiavelli might argue that they can, but only if we are willing to be honest with ourselves and with others. Only if we accept that even the best relationships are transactional in nature. And that's not weakness, it's survival, we move through life. We must embrace the truth about friendship, that it can be both genuine and strategic, both loyal and self-serving. By doing so, we free ourselves from the illusions that so often lead to disappointment. We arm ourselves with the clarity needed to form meaningful, lasting connections on our terms. So the next time you form a bond, ask yourself, is this a friendship of true trust, or is it a strategic alliance? And most importantly, what do I truly want from it? The truth is waiting for you. Will you see it for what it is? If you've gained insights from this exploration of Machiavelli's thoughts on friendship and betrayal, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with those who need to see through the illusion of loyalty, and make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into philosophy, psychology, and the timeless truths that govern our lives. Your next powerful insight is just a click away.